I am the mother of Grady, who is here, and Pablo, and we started this organization as a family in Children's Hospital Los Angeles 7 years ago when our son was diagnosed with Wilms tumor. A year after that, my husband decided to take a ride across the country as a grieving parent. So our origin story is one of heartbreak, but we've also brought a lot of joy into the cancer community and into our own lives by starting this organization and growing it to where we are today. We have some thanks that are in order, and I'd like to thank Mickey. I don't know where you are, Mickey, but thank you for having us here this morning and hosting us at Trails. And it doesn't mean you're off the hook. You will be riding Pablove Across America one day, Mickey. I see you back there hiding. We'd like to thank the Los Angeles Police Department. They're offering us a police escort this year. It's going to be exciting for our photographers, I'm sure. Thank you guys so much. Dr. Mascarenhas, who's the head of oncology at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, who was Pablo's physician. He's been on the board of the Pablove Foundation since we started, and he's a dear family friend. Thank you for being here this morning. I think that's Grayson. Grayson, you're next on my list. So thank you and your mom, Michelle, for being here. Grayson and Michelle have been part of our Pablove family for 6 years now. Grayson was in our Shutterbugs class, and he'll be speaking to you guys in a little bit. And I also just want to thank all of the families that are here, the numerous supporters of our organization around the country, and of course, all of the riders. We wouldn't be doing this event without you. Thank you so much. I know that Jeff ran through some of the numbers last night. I'll do it really quickly. We've had a really big year at Pablove. We crossed $1 million in our childhood cancer research grants this year. We've served over 900 children living with cancer through our Pablove Shutterbugs program nationwide. And you'll hear a little bit more about those stories too. So I mentioned our origin story. It started on a journey that my husband took across the country, and no one tells that story better than him. So I would like to introduce my husband, Jeff Castelaz.
Hi, everybody. I want to ask everyone in the back to step forward and everyone in the front to step forward because, oh my God, this is so much better. Doesn't that feel better? Okay, what am I saying? So I started the ride in 2009. Okay, so I was riding in the park with my friend Michael Ward, with a friend of many of us, Michael Ward, who isn't here today. And Pablo was in treatment, and at that point in time, my cycling friends would take me out for rides all the time. Or they would join me when I would leave the hospital at 6:30 in the morning, which is down the block from here, and they would jump in with me. A lot of times we'd meet right here at Trails. People were extremely supportive. People changed their schedules around with their jobs and their families to just get my butt out on the bike and get me doing this thing that helps all of us to disconnect our minds from our bodies for a little while. Some of you might run, some of you might do other things, but thank you. But cycling does it for me. And
the mic keeps going in.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me try this again. Okay, great. So one day Michael and I were riding, and we I'm just gonna not use this. So one day Michael and I were riding, and I said, you know, when Pablo goes back to school next year, I'm going to fly to Florida and ride my bike back to LA. And he looked at me. We were just right up here on the road that we're about to ride over. And he goes like, man, if you did that, you'd be in the best shape of your life. And I thought like, hey, that's not so bad after like sleeping on these crappy hospital sofas and laying in the bed with Pablo, and, you know, be nice to kind of get my game going again. And obviously, you know, the fantasy at that time was that Pablo would get better. And
It's Murphy's Law.
There we go. Thank you. By the way, has anybody ever stopped what they're doing to respond to a car alarm? That's what I always think about those things. It's like the dumbest. Someone needs to disrupt the car alarm business, like right now. So obviously our story, as Joanne said, and as you all know, turned out different than what I thought at that point in time. Pablo did not live. And is this going to work now? Okay. So the story turned out different than what I expected at that time. Pablo did not live, and we never did bring Pablo to his first day of kindergarten, and I never did fly to Florida to ride back here from that vantage point. Pablo died. And right after that, I decided that I would go do this ride with my friend Rick, who's back there. Can you put your hand up, Rick? That's Rick Babington, everybody. And we did this thing that worked on a bunch of different levels, and it's going to work again starting today on a bunch of different levels. It was a great way to ride my bike for a few days in succession, just to kind of get the hell away from the whole scene that we were living in. It was a way for me to go out into the country and find myself. I'm not sure if that worked, which is why I keep doing it. And it ended up raising a hell of a lot of awareness and a hell of a lot of money for the mission of this foundation. And at that point in time, the mission of this foundation was rather loose compared to what it is now. Now it's a proper organization that employs people and gives away money. And Joanne does an incredible job running it 7 days a week, roughly 16 hours a day, every day. Rick and I flew to St. Augustine, Florida, and just started riding our bikes back this way. I don't know what else to tell you. Friends of ours flew out and joined us along the way. Joe Scully, who's here in the blue vest, was one of them. Many other people who are here joined us. It's a little bit hard to pick people out here in the bushes, but this ride is about dropping everything for a period of time, job, family, commitments, and turning our hearts towards something that needs some help, which is children, which is youth, which is life. Maybe not everyone here has been touched by cancer, but everyone here has been a child. If any of you skipped being a child, let's talk about that later. I'd like to know how you did that. We're about to embark on something that's going to change our lives. We're going to make friends we've never had. We're going to have experiences with our hearts, with our legs, with our lungs, hopefully with a lot of laughter that we've never had before. And this is the 7th time, so I can pretty much guarantee that that's going to happen. We might even have some arguments. I hope we don't, but people do talk smack out there on the road. So I thank you all for being here. It's really an amazing thing. Mickey P., who owns this place, rides with us. I don't know why he's not riding with us this week, but he did open up his amazing business trails. They're actually not even open today. They did this for us. And I couldn't think of a better place to start. Pablo absolutely loved coming here. If you ever come here during the day, get the snake dog. That was his favorite thing. So we've raised more than $560,000 as of this minute. I think we're at like 564. So the money that you're raising goes to 2 different things, principally. One is Pablove Shutterbugs. The other one is to fund our research grants. As Joanne said, we just surpassed the $1.1 million granted mark earlier this year, and by the end of this year, that number will be even higher. All I can say is thank you. We only get to do this life once, and we get to choose sometimes what we do with our time. And everyone who's standing in front of me has made a choice to be in Griffith Park at like 6:30 in the morning. So I know you guys have something going on. Let's be safe. Let's have fun. Let's take it seriously, but not too seriously. And let's keep raising money for this foundation so we can keep doing this. Right now, it's my honor to introduce Dr. Leo Mascarenhas. Where is he? There he is. Dr. Mascarenhas, I'm going to hug him with the mic in my hand. Hold on. You guys have no idea how important this man is to us. But in about 3 minutes, you'll know.
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Good.
What a wonderful day, right? Los Angeles got cleaned up for you yesterday. We had some rain and we have wonderful weather today. A great time to start off this incredible journey, which is very different from the journey many of the children I treat start every day. A journey which is uphill, a journey which takes a lot from them and their families and is incredibly difficult and always filled with hope, though. And I think as all of you pedal your way, I mean, some of you are going to have a hard time, some of you are going to feel exhilarated, and I think they reflect all the peaks and really lows and troughs which our patients and families go through every day. And so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart on the behalf of all my patients and children, and childhood cancer patients and their families and survivors worldwide for your incredible commitment to this really worthy cause. There are around 13,000 children diagnosed each year in America with, it's either you're cured or you're not cured. And so you're not really a statistic. And so it's every single life is really important and incredible. Many of our successes have led to children living longer lives into young adulthood, but many of them suffer from the side effects of all our treatment. So that fight to improve our therapies, make them more effective, but also less harmful and toxic continues today. And I said, even though we cure about 80% of children in the United States, worldwide we cure less than 20% of children. So the numbers are flipped the other way, and cancer is a global problem. And there are many causes, many effects. A lot of them are genetic, a lot of them are things which happen, but the environment has a lot to do with it. And all of us need to continue to be stewards of the environment. The Pablove Foundation, when it first started, I was right there in that room 9 years ago, and was a part of the very first time this ride actually started 7 years ago. And there was a focus on childhood cancer in general. You should know that childhood cancer is just about 5% of all cancers. But really, when you cure a child, and I say this again and again, I can't tell you how important this is. Our hope is those children will live 70 or 80 years. So the number of person lives you actually save with each child who's cured of cancer is much, much higher than with any other cancer. Not to say that it's less important. Childhood cancer has also led the way to all the advances which we have in treating adults with cancer today, because of the first successes which we actually had in the 50s and 60s. And so that opened up the whole area of research. So it's an incredibly important part of discovery and innovation. But what has really happened right now is that the majority of funding, especially by our government, does not go to support childhood cancer. In fact, just 4% of the budget is focused on childhood cancer. And that's why efforts like the Pablove Foundation, all your efforts, are incredibly important in this fight against the disease. The Pablove Foundation really focuses on out-of-the-box, innovative thinking in research to really take things to the next level. Just this year, we funded 5 different grants, 2 in a focused area of opsoclonus, myoclonus syndrome, and Naveen somewhere over here. He and his family and friends have done an incredible job in raising funds and bringing awareness to this very rare disease and really moving this field ahead, which is incredibly important. And I think you've raised over $40,000, right? On this, that's fantastic. So thank you, Naveen. And to also tell you that the work funded by the Pablove Foundation really has global impact. Since the Pablove Foundation started giving out grants, we've also funded not only grants here in the United States, but also in Sydney in Australia, at Oxford in the United Kingdom, in Germany, and we've also received applications from other parts of the world. So the work you're doing here today, and as you ride between Los Angeles and San Francisco, you're really having global impact, for which all of us are really grateful. The other grants which we funded this year included identifying a new protein in leukemia which could be identified as a therapeutic target. So if you target this protein, you could kill leukemia cells. Another grant which we funded at Texas, Dr. Hexie, was actually harnessing the body's own immune system to fight liver cancer, which is a rare disease in children, but if you actually perfect it in children, this can affect hundreds of people worldwide who are diagnosed with liver cancer. So, investing in research really leads to improving the lives and outcomes for all, and particularly with children with childhood cancer. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your efforts, for joining in this fight, something which I see in a different way every day when I take care of patients. I mean, just as you guys go out and ride today, I'm going to go to a clinic and see 20 patients today who are diagnosed with childhood cancer, but feel extremely enthused with the hope which we can bring to each and every one of them, and energized by all your wonderful efforts towards this great cause. So thank you very much. I'd like to introduce Pablove Shutterbug and childhood cancer survivor Grayson to come up here and say a few words. There's Grayson. Grayson was one of our biggest cheerleaders. You should have just heard him over there. You could hear him well.
Hello, my name's Grayson. When I was a shutterbug, me and my mom were in the car during my assignment for carrots and portraits. And as we were driving, we saw two other Pablove bike riders. As we were in the car driving, we chased them down in our car to take their picture. We thought they were after them because we were following them, but we stopped and we got their picture. Pablove has taught me a lot. I always was interested in how to use a camera because my Aunt Tammy is a professional photographer and she has her own press agency. So I always saw her shooting pictures and her doing her photos from work. So I was always interested in how to use a camera. So when I took I learned about the Shutterbug class through one of my friends I know named Jordan. She took it and her parents thought I would like it, so her parents told my mom about it and she asked me if I wanted to take it, and I said yes, so she signed me up. And that's how I took the Shutterbug class. I really loved it, and I loved how that each session had to use the camera was broken up and not all at once. Because when something like that is all at once at me, it gets me around. So I'm glad that it was broken up into different sessions and not just one session how to use the camera all at once. My time here my time at Pablove was the best one I had. I really loved it, and I appreciate that my mentor Rebecca took time to teach me how to use the camera. I just want to thank all the riders for riding for us. You guys are what makes Pablove Pablove. you guys writing for us. So thank you.
Thank you, Grayson.
It's not here. From the bottom of my heart.
I know, thank you. We've followed Grayson over the last several years. I happened to be in New York when he was in treatment there, and I got to see him in the hospital there, and he was still asking me about the program and taking pictures. We have some of Grayson's photos on our Pablove print shop, and the sales of his prints actually fund childhood cancer research at Pablove. So thank you, Grayson, for giving back to other children. Sorry, I have to find where I am on the notes. We're fortunate enough today to have Councilmember Rue be here with us. If you'd like to come up, I know that, here we go, sorry. You're here to present a resolution to the Pablove Foundation. We're so grateful to have you, and on this special morning, thank you so much.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. You know, let's really give it up for Grayson. You know, I bet those two bikers, after they got over the fear of someone chasing them down. I mean, imagine if you were the two bikers and you see Grayson pulling you over and saying thank you and can I take a picture with you? I mean, that's what it is about today. And you know, let's give another big round of applause to Joanne and Jeff for their incredible work. You know, and it was mentioned before, I mean, this year they're poised to raise over $600,000, but they've raised to date over $3 million, with about 1.1 going to fund pediatric cancer research to 16 institutions worldwide. And you know, the doctor was mentioning about pediatric cancer, but I just wanted to, again, reiterate, pediatric cancer remains the most deadly disease among children and teens in the United States, taking more lives each year than AIDS, asthma, diabetes, and cystic fibrosis combined. You know, Pablove has been working tirelessly to bridge educational gaps between children, parents, doctors, and medical treatments available, always seeking to educate and inspire those affected by pediatric cancer. I'm just so happy to be here, and you know, we're going to do another presentation at City Hall to help publicize what Pablove is doing and what you guys are doing. And on behalf of Los Angeles City Council, it is my honor to present here it is, resolution on behalf of the City of Los Angeles to Jeff and Joanne to Pablove. Thank you for all your hard work. Okay. Thank you for all your hard work.
The great thing is, if you can all come up here later and check out the small print. Can I see it? If you see item number 6 right here, this appoints me the czar of the Silver Lake Reservoir and limited police authority, just to let you guys know. So we'll be taking the fence down as soon as I get back from San Francisco. We're going to need some help taking that stupid fence down. It was put up on April 14, 1974, as we were talking about earlier, back in the reign of fat white guys running the world. And no one knows why the fence was put up. It makes no sense on Earth. There's not a fence around the Pacific Ocean. There's not a fence around the Echo Park Lake, but there's a fence around the Silver Lake Reservoir. There was some fear that was put into everybody, and now there's a fence there. So item number 6 on the Pablove Foundation decree here is a pretty awesome one. In all seriousness, I'll be doing that anyway, even though this doesn't really say that. Thanks for being here. It's really nice to really just to have people who know what's going on here helping send us off. So thanks for being here. It means a lot to us. Hold on. No one knows what's happening right now. Are we going to ride our bikes now? Hi, Julie. Are we going to ride now? Is this the end of the program?
Ashley, the dedication.
Oh, yeah, well, now we have the dedication. Someone has to tell me what's happening now. How come the mic only goes out when I'm holding it?
The metal plate.
Uh,
Sorry.
is it my phone? Something I said?
This is our dedication.
So how are we doing this?
Ashley.
Who's doing it, me? And we're just going to do it like this? Okay, great. Is everybody ready for the dedication? So what we do on this ride, before we ride every day, is we dedicate the day on the road to a different child who's going through treatment. You guys get the theme, right? We hold that child in our hearts. We talk about that child. And by acknowledging that there's a real child out there named Grayson, in this case, who's going through this thing, we bring the purpose to what we're doing right to the ride every morning. And we've been doing this since day one. We used to do it 3 times a day. There were so many kids to talk about. So today, we're going to dedicate our ride to Grayson, who's 15. You guys seeing a theme here? Does anyone pick up on this? Thanks. Thanks, Tom. Grayson's from Los Angeles. Laurel Canyon? Laurel Canyon? Okay. Do I have it right? Laurel Canyon? Toluca Lake now. Okay, so as of 2 days ago, Toluca Lake. I just want to be sure we get this right. We're going to kind of ride through Toluca Lake adjacent area. Grayson is principally working through a brain tumor. He's been in treatment for 9 years and has been working with doctors across the entire country. Dr. Jonathan Finley, who Joanne and I know very well, and Dr. Gordon McComb work with him at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, just about a mile from here. Grayson's also working with the doctor at Cornell, New York Pres, and I'm sorry, I'm just trying to read all of this as I'm talking, which I normally don't do. Reading, okay. So the deal is that Grayson, ever since we met him, has been a fun, amazing, super funny dude, as you just saw. And every time I am in the same room as Grayson, I'm just inspired, and whatever is knocking around inside my head that I think is a problem on a given day, whenever I see him, I think, I don't really have any problems today. And it puts things into perspective. So as we roll out of here on our bikes, and those of you who are joining us in cars, or those of you who are going to work or whatever today, let's just hold this little man right here in our hearts, and remember that he's a representative of thousands of children and young adults who are going through this game. It's a very important thing to stay connected to our purpose. It's not just about raising money blindly, and it's not just about riding our bikes. So it's a little bit awkward to do the dedication from up here, because usually there's like 50 people here, but are we good, Josh? Great. So now let's go do this.